Sometimes we find ourselves longing for a simpler time. A time when roles were clear, knights were knights, kings were loved, and quests to save the world fell into portentous farm boys' laps. Echoes of an elusive age harkens back to simpler times when dreams of bucolic life collided with doomsday visions. A classic epic fantasy story set in a classic epic fantasy world, oozing with wholesome charm and witty subversions, which evoke a feeling of nostalgia while also keeping the player guessing as to what will happen next. In other words, Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, acts as a reminder about what's fun and exciting about the fantasy genre, without feeling too stale. An elusive age indeed. The visuals of DQXIEOAEA are bright and cheery, perfectly encapsulating the charm of the game's story and characters. The cel-shaded graphic technique is a proven concept which extends a game's shelf life, and it gracefully matches the art style of the well-known art director of the game, Akira Toriyama, creator of the Dragon Ball comics. The characters and setting are vibrant and stylized, making each new location a pleasure to explore. The cartoony simplification of the world only serves to amplify the game's sense of wonder. I give the visuals 10 out of 10. DQXIEOAEA is a classic Knights and Wizards high epic fantasy tale. The characters are fun and unique, and while the story starts out appearing to be somewhat predictable, it quickly veers off course, offering plenty of surprises, which is good due to its long playtime. While the game's narrative is never trivial, the characters and myths in the game do tend to be a bit simplistic. More like an extended fairy tale than an epic fantasy. Unfortunately, due to the simplicity of the world, the story can get a tad repetitive. Perhaps too much emphasis on appearing clever, and not enough depth to warrant the extended runtime. It did have its moments though. I give the narrative an 8 out of 10. The gameplay in DQXIEOAEA is a welcome yet pleasantly restrained improvement on the old school JRPG systems. The game boasts a semi-open world the players can explore with some interesting game mechanics which go above and beyond many JRPGs of its type. Exploration of dungeons and landscapes is made more interesting by offering the player the opportunity to take control and ride certain monsters which inhabit the landscape. The turn-based combat systems are made more interesting by offering the player the ability to freely navigate the arena during combat. This is not important to the outcome of the battle, but it does add a nice twist to the classic formula. The game is long. Online, it is stated the game takes around 80 to 100 hours, though I finished in a little over 60, probably due in part to being able to avoid most of the enemies without much consequence, as the game's general difficulty level is low, with only a few bosses proving truly challenging. There are many armor upgrades to be had, some of which alter the character's appearance. I'd say maybe too many upgrades. I found myself purchasing new items for each of the characters, often multiple times in a single hour. All in all, DQXIEOAEA has a lot to offer while still staying solidly in the JRPG genre. I give the gameplay an 8.5 out of 10. DQXIEOAEA is a fun and charming JRPG which is easy to fall in love with and provides plenty of wholesome fun for the whole family, which never gets boring. Its overly simplistic nature can tend to bite as its long story inevitably falls into repetition. However, its sprightly cast of whimsical characters saves the tale from truly getting stale. You might enjoy this game if you like the Legend of Zelda games, the Final Fantasy series, or Harvest Moon. Don't play this game if you get bored in JRPGs or are an evil wild soul who needs to see blood in order to be entertained. After 11 games, Dragon Quest is clearly here to stay, and this is certainly the most ambitious title in the series, giving the game more of a AAA feel. I give the game an 8.5 out of 10, and a cup of tea, because though it may not be everyone's cup of tea, I do believe that they have perfected the Dragon Quest formula with this game. Nobody does what they do better than they do when they're doing the thing that they do.